and welcome everybody. Thanks for joining us for this live Shopcast update. I'm John, this is Julie, and looks like we got Rick Seymour and Patrick Ty also on the call here. So a couple things I'm going to cover today. One is co-hosting, which is broadcasting with a split screen with another presenter. And the other is rehosting. And I want to walk through just some basic setup and how you use this, and then a few things just to keep in mind while we perfect some of these features. One thing I'm going to show right before we get going, I'm going to share my screen. Before we get going here is we have a new design coming up, which we're pretty excited about for LiveShopCast. Much improved graphics, a little bit different color scheme, much clearer descriptions on the products, and a little bit better dashboard underneath the video. We've had some great feedback on this so far. These designs are going to be replicated on both the app as well as the desktop, and all of this redesign will go throughout everything from show setup to the viewer experience and so on. So we're really pumped on these designs. Our dev schedule is we're completing these on mobile this week, and these should be implemented onto web starting next week. I'm hoping that by the end of next week, we have it all laid out with this new user experience. Some other things that are going to be added to this beyond user experience are stats. So right now, we've only been showing you the number of viewers that attend your live show, but we're going to be showing accumulated stats. So when your video appears in the live Shopcast list of past shows, it's going to show the total number of views to date, and it'll show also for you a total number of clicks in your dashboard so that you can start to track the performance of videos after the live video itself. So we're excited about these features being rolled out, and now we'll shift gears and get into co-host. Okay, so this is your live Shopcast dashboard. Many of you, of course, have been here before, and hopefully this looks somewhat familiar to you, but a couple of, sorry, let me move this back here. A couple of things that I'll point out that are new. The first is showing up underneath each event as something called co-host. And the second thing that I'll point out is this thing called Events Library. So these are both the new features that we're going to be demoing today. So co-host allows you to launch an event that looks like this. This is a test Julie and I did this morning. Essentially, I set up a show. I invited Julie to join me, and we both are here delivering the show, chatting back and forth. One of our customers, Shackley, chatting away and so on. Both of us can participate in chat, and I can control whether or not Julie appears, is removed, reappears, and so on. So to create one of these co-hosted shows, you are creating an event just as is normal. So I already created an event here using the new Shopcast feature. I created an event, and that is not where you set up co-host. You create an event first, and then once it's created, you go and you click on co-host, and this is where all of the members in your organization, these are just the test accounts in my organization, are listed here. And so if I want to add Julie to co-host with me, this is her fun little username, I select Jules. I guess Julie likes Jules. Who doesn't? Mm-hmm. And hit OK. And if I were to log in to Julie's event, this same event will now appear in her My Shopcast tab. Now, when Julie and I are ready to do the show, we're all synced up on our time, and we know that our show is going to start at 2 o'clock. What simply happens is I go into preview and I start the event. And hopefully this shows up on Zoom okay. And when I start my event, Julie starts her event, and then suddenly both of us will appear on the same screen, and we proceed as usual. In some cases, we recommend, we tested this morning and over the weekend, not using headphones, and it was working just fine. There are some cases, certain computers, certain devices, where we may have to recommend using headphones. But a lot of those audio issues have been addressed, and hopefully there's no more issues on them. A couple other known issues that we're working through on split screen. I'm just going to exit this now. A couple other issues that we're working through with split screen relate to using cohost. Cohost and split screen, I use those terms interchangeably. With cohost is using it on an iPad or app. There are some instances where the split screen does not show up live. It all shows up perfectly on replay, but on live, you may not see your co-presenter at the same time that you're presenting if you're using a phone or iPad right now. We hope to have this addressed in the coming days, but it's just something that's come up in our testing over the weekend and this morning. So recommended is to use desktop right now if you're going to test out using the co-host feature. Works out really well in a couple of cases that we'll lay out. Let's just say you're working with an associate who knows a lot more about a product than you, or you're working with an associate that knows a lot less about a product than you. You can work together and tag team certain products that you each have expertise on. Other ideas for co-hosts are to bring in an expert. Maybe you have a customer that's passionate about one of your products. Maybe you have a celebrity friend. Really anyone else that adds to the personality of selling your product, because we all know that when you're talking to someone else about a product, there's just validation. There's a validation factor there. You're not talking into a screen, you're talking to another human being. They're able to respond and ask questions and have a conversation so that everybody can learn better. So before I move on to rehost or using a pre-existing video, just want to pause and ask Rick or Casey. Casey, I know it's loud for you, but Rick, I want to see if maybe you have any questions so far. I think you're on mute, Rick. Hang on. There you go.
When somebody clicks co-host to invite somebody, is there, where do I find the people in the system, or can I just type in an email address?
Good question. So right now, everybody in the Shaklee test organization is going to be listed here, and you just select from that person. I'll try and log in as Charlene. If I still have her login.
But if I wanted to invite somebody who's not part of the test group, can I just type in an email address and it'll invite them, or is that not possible?
As it stands right now, they would have to be added to the system. So what would happen is if you had a friend who's not part of Shaklee, you want them to be on the show, you'd ask them to download the LiveShopCast app, and for the next week or two, you'd have to email me or Greg and say, hey, my friend Joe wants to join me, add him to the organization. We will have this set up so that you can actually just type in someone's email and they can join you when they log into their LiveShopCast account. But right now it's set up for kind of a closed system for just Shaklee.
Okay.
Good question though. Because we do think this is something that we're going to offer to all users who have a paid account. I'll just see who's in the organization here. So this is everybody listed in the Shaklee organization. You would just choose who you wanted to add.
Okay. Alrighty.
Okay. Let's log out of here. Back to my account. Okay, let's move on to rehost. And rehost is this idea that you can choose a video or a LiveShopCast that has been previously produced and use it in your event. So to go to do a rehost, you would go to the events library at the top of the screen and choose an event that you wanted to rehost. So I'm going to choose this live mod open house. Let's just say if I was a real estate agent, I wanted to do an update on this open house in this particular case. I'm going to copy this as a rehost event. So I copy this as an event, and that's happened. And I'll just say right now, we do see some improvement here, which I'll explain in just a second. But now that I've added that rehost event, I go to my Shopcasts, and here is my event as the rehost. Modern Home in Seattle rehost. So the first thing I want to do is edit this event. First, I'm going to make it a private event. I'm just going to call this Modern Home in Seattle update, for example. And I can make the other adjustments, of course. I want to make it so it's set for a time now in the future. Thanks a lot, Julie. See you. Let's turn that off. And I'm going to set this for tomorrow at 5:30 p.m. I'm going to set the category for real estate, and I'm going to save this broadcast. And then I'm set to go, okay? Now, when it comes time to launch the event, and hopefully this all translates in Zoom, because sometimes Zoom gets weird with 2 videos running, but it's the same as any other event where you hit preview, and I'm going to turn my volume down now because I don't want to get the weird feedback. You're hitting preview, and what you're seeing here is me in one screen, sort of like co-host. And on the left, this is what launches the previous event that I want to talk about. So what you can do here is launch it from the start. I could just introduce the event and be quiet and let it go, let people watch for a while. I can pause it, talk about what's already happened. I can move to the middle of an event where I know there's a certain product that I want to talk about. So in this case, maybe I want to talk about the entrance or the basement. And I'm carrying on and talking. So a couple of things I'm just going to mention right off the bat that we know that we want to improve. One is that we want to be able to allow the rehost to take over all the real estate on the viewable screen. So it's not split screen. We want it to be able to essentially be the dominant playing screen. And maybe I'm just going to host this event with chat. I'm going to launch the rehost, let it play, answer questions using chat. Other parts that we think are important are the ability to mute the rehost event. You'll notice that as I'm talking, you have to put up with both sides talking in the background. And I may just want to play this event and talk about it in a new way, rather than them having to put up with the audio from the old video, okay? And then finally, this is down the road, we want for these events to be able to play at the appointed time without even hitting start. So basically set up a rehost event. Hopefully I'm there to host the chat, but worst case scenario, it just plays and does the work for me. And viewers are invited and they can watch the replay. And yes, no one will be there to answer their questions in chat, but you have something going to help people understand about your new products and maybe sell a few things. But basically auto start without having to even be there. So that is essentially rehost. And I'll put it out to all of you. I'll turn my volume back up. Any initial questions in terms of rehost and how we have it set up?
Not right off the bat.
Okay. Well, at least tell me you're excited. We're pretty pumped about there you go. We're pretty pumped about rehost, not just for playing a past event, but also this will be happening in the next couple of weeks, 2 weeks, I hope, is the ability to thread in any video. So you could choose, an inspirational video. You could choose someone, in Shakli's case, someone working out or someone finishing a cardio or a marathon and be like, notice how destroyed they are. Couldn't they use recovery mix and so on? So adding in third-party videos beyond LiveShopCast is also a feature that we're working hard on and hope to offer to you very soon.
Okay. Well, I think all of it sounds good. I'm surprised Priscilla isn't on because I know that was one of the things that she was really hard over about. So
yeah,
I'll make sure she takes an opportunity to view this because I think that's going to be a great asset.
Okay. So that's about it for today's update. Just for anyone who's not viewing right now, I'm just inviting you again, email John at LiveShopCast or Julie at LiveShopCast.com. Please use cohost. Please use rehost. The one parting words is, if possible, try and test these features using desktop just for the next week. We wanted to get these features out to you as soon as possible, but it takes a little bit to perfect some of the different devices and app versions. So bear with us on those.
Okay, sounds good, John. I appreciate it.
Thanks, everyone. Great to see you. Have a great day.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much. Bye now.